You guys are very fortunate. You have a really cool high school, and you also have really cool administrators and teachers. They've worked really hard to bring us in to make sure that you guys could enjoy this morning. Like the principal said, we do have a very serious message that we want to bring to you guys today. I really hope that you listen to what they have to say, and that you really, I think that the goal is, at the end of the day, is that if they can make you think, that's really the moral of all of this. Just think, your families love you, your teachers love you. The biggest message I heard from your superintendent this morning is they care about you. They want you to have fun safely. That is the message of this weekend, of graduation and heading into the summer. So if we can make you think, that's really goal accomplished. This morning, our speakers are Tina and Austin Lizama. They are residents of Zionsville near Indianapolis, Indiana, and they drove all the way here to share their message with you. They are sharing their message with you guys for the very first time. The very first time for them. They have never shared this story publicly with a group of high school students, so I hope that you guys will give them that respect and that attention that they so very much so deserve. The two of them share a very special bond as mother and son. Austin is a high school junior. He is deeply involved in the art scene. He showcases his talents in the school's show choir, local theater productions, and musicals. Tina holds a degree in elementary education from Purdue University, and she devotes her days as an office manager at their local church. Austin's sister Grace is a sophomore in college studying nursing at the University of Arizona. In their free time, Austin channels his creativity through digital art, design, recording, podcasts, making music. Tina enjoys ballroom dancing, and she finds solace in long walks. Together, they cherish moments with their dog, Atari, which I love that name. I'm an 80s kid, though. The unique journey has led them to Canton South High School here, where they are grateful for the opportunity to connect with all of you guys and to share their stories. So if you would please give a warm welcome to Tina and Austin.
I need just a minute to get this set up before I begin. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your patience. I think think we're all ready to go. Good morning. Good morning. Let me begin by thanking today's program organizers for inviting us to come share with you this morning. We are humbled to be a part of Q92 Students For Sobriety this year at Canton South High School. So thank you for having us. My name is Tina, and my son Austin is here with me this morning. As they mentioned, he's a junior in high school. So we live near Indianapolis, Indiana. And over the past couple of years, I've tried to avoid long road trips. However, we drove over 5 hours last night to arrive here in Canton, and then we'll drive another 5 to head home today. Also, I am not a public speaker, as you can see in the delay in my setup here. In fact, it's my least favorite thing to do. I'm very nervous right now, and this is out of my comfort zone. So you may be asking, why are you here? Why did you make the drive? Why are you giving a speech today? And those are great questions, and honestly, I have no idea. I guess I would answer those questions by saying, God opened a door, and I chose to walk through. I've had to do many hard things the past couple of years, my kids too. So this morning is going to be one of those hard things for me, but I'll do my best. We can do hard things, so here it goes. We were asked to share our story. When I began to write what I was going to say, I felt I needed a message. What was my message going to be for the high schoolers at South Canton? I was told it's a Students For Sobriety event and has taken place for over 15 years. Promise tomorrow for many. Graduation is just around the corner for seniors. This message seems apparent, but at the same time, I don't want to stand up here and tell you what to do. However, even though we are strangers, I do care about you and your future. So I'll ask you for your help instead. Please listen to our experience as we share this morning and determine what the message may be for you personally. How will our story impact you? In your heart, in your mind, your body, and your soul. And if we have time at the end, I'd love to have several of you share what message you may take away from our story. I grew up in a small town called Zionsville. In 1992, for my senior year spring break trip, my friend Fran and I drove to Destin, Florida, which is in the Panhandle. I fell in love with Destin. The beautiful sunsets, the soft white sand. Years later, I got married in 2001, and our wedding was the Saturday after 9/11. Our plans after the wedding included driving down to Destin, Florida for vacation. When our first child, our daughter Grace, was born, we took her to Destin, Florida for her first trip to the beach. It was Austin's first trip too, since I was pregnant with him at the time. The years to follow included many trips to Destin. Many times we also vacationed with my parents, as well as my sister and her family. Over the years, we've taken many family photos on the beach. When the kids were little, the family pictures weren't so easy, as we would try to get everyone to look at the camera while it teetered in the sand on a tripod. Hoping to catch the best lighting from the sunset, we would act quickly to capture our photos. As the kids got older, we looked forward to this family tradition, and many times trying to wear matching colors. For fall break in 2021, we went to Destin again. At the time, Austin was a freshman in high school, he was 15, and Grace was a senior in high school, and she was 17. On Thursday, October 14th, 2021, we took, in my opinion, one of our best and favorite family photos. At the time, we didn't know it was our last family photo. The next night, we continued with our tradition of watching the sunset. Then on Saturday morning, before driving home from fall break vacation, the kids watched the sunrise. We left around 8 a.m. to head back to Indiana. My husband Dominic had been working on the FAFSA form during our vacation for Grace, since she was a senior and would be applying for colleges. We had the college brochures in a bag and had planned to go through them on the drive home. We had been on the road approximately 30 minutes that Saturday morning. Dominic was driving, I was in the front seat, looking at my phone, watching the map and watching for the upcoming exit ramp we needed to take. Both kids had settled into the back seat with their pillows for the long drive home. In what was a split second, I looked up and saw the grill of a truck right in front of our windshield. I thought life was over. No time to react, no time to scream. I opened my eyes to the sight of the aftermath, the dashboard, the broken glass, silence. I thought I had died, but I started to speak out loud, repeating, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, to convince myself I was alive. Fear and shock set in, as well as a calm and focus. I remember every single detail from that point forward until being in the ambulance. I looked around at Dominic in the driver's seat and my two kids in the back seat. I thought I was the only one that had survived. I don't know how to articulate the emotional pain I felt with that realization. It was stronger than the excruciating physical pain I was feeling in my chest from broken bones and a broken heart. Then the trunk door opened and Good Samaritans started pulling out all of our luggage. Austin showed signs of movement. A man helped me get Austin out of the back, and then Grace too showed signs of life, and we were able to get Grace out as well. I was told to try and climb out so the first responders could help Dominic. My next three slides do show the vehicle in our accident, so just a heads up in case you choose not to look. We were told later that we were hit head-on by an oncoming pickup truck that had crossed over the center line. Neither car had a chance to hit the brakes. Our car had flipped and ended up on the passenger side on the side of the road. I was taken by ambulance to the ER. Grace and Austin were each lifelined by a helicopter and taken to a different hospital with a pediatric ER. And their dad, he was escorted by angels to heaven. Dominic had died at the scene of the car accident. Losing Dominic was the greatest impact of the impact. He was one of those dads that made moments fun with his big laugh and sense of humor. He was kind and helpful and a favorite among his coworkers, friends, and relatives. And on that day, he paid the ultimate price. This is where all the hard things truly begin. Moments like me finding out in the ER from a police officer that he had died. Then going to the kids in their ER and delivering the same devastating news. Dealing with the physical pain of our injuries. I had fractured a sternum and broken ribs, and Grace was in the ICU for a week and had surgery for internal bleeding along with broken ribs, and Austin had fractured vertebrae. Both kids remained in neck braces for several weeks. The hard things continued for weeks and months. We flew back to Indiana and each spoke at the funeral service. Grace graduated from high school and went off to college in Arizona without her dad. Austin performed in his high school musicals and show choir performances with an empty chair in the audience in his father's absence. In October 2022, 1 year into the loss, we decided to return to the scene of the accident on the 1-year anniversary. This gave us a chance to be together and grieve. which we had not been able to do initially since we were all separated in our own emergency rooms. We cried, we hugged, we prayed, we remembered Dominic. We are now about 2.5 years since the car accident. And during that time frame, the hard things continued. The other driver was arrested and charged with felonies, including DUI manslaughter. I'm not here to share his story, so I won't go into those details. I hope to hear his story someday, though. Regardless of if it was alcohol or drugs, he was under the influence and an impaired driver that made the choice to get in his truck that morning. Not with the intention of crossing the center line to hit us, but by making that choice to drive and taking that risk, he did. And the collision resulted in a death. In January, he was sentenced to over 10 years in jail. We attended the sentence hearing and each spoke, giving our victim impact statements. I did not want him to go to jail. What I had hoped was that he would receive rehabilitation for his addiction. But this was out of my hands. It was between the Florida State Prosecutor, the Public Defense Attorney, the judge, and our system of law. He received a consequence for his actions, a risky, selfish, dangerous behavior, which resulted in the impact of our vehicles that impacted not just his own personal life, but also Dominic's life, our family, and many others. There's also another list of the impact to me and my family after the car accident losing Dominic. These are all positive impacts. I'll share a few. I witnessed love, hope, and generosity from others. Friends, family, and our community gave to our family in various ways, including a GoFundMe. Grace decided to go into nursing after her experience in the ICU. Austin has continued to perform in musicals, works hard in school, and stays motivated to prepare for college since he is interested in law school after meeting with our personal injury attorney. We three are closer. We're not just surviving, we're thriving. And there is hope, faith, and love. So you can see it is hard for me to explain the impact of the impact. There are many layers. But one concept that remains front and center is that we can do hard things. Getting to the other side of hard things is where life's beauty lies. It takes courage to do hard things. It would have been easier to not write impact statements, to not speak at the sentence hearing. We did the opposite of that. And it was difficult, scary, heartbreaking, full of many unknowns. And it was the best thing we could have done for ourselves. This is what we would have missed if we didn't do hard things. I spoke first in the courtroom. I was able to recount my memories of the car accident. I got to look at the other driver and talk to him. We maintained eye contact as I told him that I forgive him. I'm not angry at him. I care about him, and I encouraged him to take his second chance at life and make a positive impact. Then Grace spoke, and she was full of grace. She talked about there being more to a person's character than their actions. She talked about her closeness to her dad. She expressed the intense physical pain she had endured. She told him she hasn't experienced hate for him and that she forgives him. Austin went last, and he spoke from the heart rather than from a pre-written statement. It's a gift of his. He was articulate. He was emotional and delivered a powerful impact statement. He honored his dad in all that he shared. He expressed to the other driver that he does not have hate in his heart for him. but is not yet ready to forgive. Austin wants to see him make a change and use his second chance for good. The other driver asked to speak with us after the court was adjourned. His courage to do a hard thing and talk with us meant so much to me. He was able to apologize. I gave him a hug and we parted ways. The impact to all 5 of us from the impact of our cars is profound and stretches far beyond just us. The impact of the impact is that it has touched so many, and I hope it has touched you. As promised tomorrow night, when graduation parties are in a few weeks, it's easy to drink, party, and have fun with your friends. So I will leave you with this. You too can do hard things. It will be worth it. Have courage in what risks you take. Please take the healthy risks and avoid the dangerous risks. That may look very different in each individual. The hard things may be studying extra for finals, or asking a teacher for help when grades are slipping, applying to a college you may think you can't get into, asking that boy to a dance, asking the girl for a number, saying no to a job offer, saying yes to a job offer, ending a relationship, beginning a new relationship, taking on a new hobby, going out of state for college. The really hard things may be avoiding a risky situation, being the only one not drinking, not riding with a driver under the influence, having a hard conversation with a parent whom you think has an alcohol addiction, or calling a parent of a friend who may be suicidal, or taking the steps to go to counseling, or reaching out to someone close to you when you are struggling. Whatever vulnerability you are able to share with another. Between the 3 of us, we've done all those things the past 2 years. Life is tragic, life is beautiful. You can have both the tragic and the beautiful at the same time. So thank you for listening to my story. I wasn't sure if high schoolers would want to listen to this story, so I thank you for being the first high school to do so. And I hope you received a message from it that was meaningful for you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Before we move to our next speaker, which is my son, my daughter Grace is in college in Arizona, they're 3 hours behind us, and she certainly wanted to share because she's 2 years into college. So what we've done, our family has a Facebook page. I know Facebook is blocked here at school. We've been blogging the past 2.5 years on that page. So she hopes to get a brief video up to share just her part of the story. We do have QR codes for that page. When you leave on the door, you can access it and try to do it later once we get the video up. So just wanted to let you know that would be available. So now I'd like to introduce you to my son, Austin. He's the real public speaker. I believe it to be one of his gifts. His perspective will be quite different, I'm sure, not one of a parent, but as a peer. So thank you.
All right. Hello, and my name is Austin Lizama, and just one more time, if you guys wouldn't mind giving my mom another round of applause. I think it is only fair because I have seen the amount of courage and bravery it takes to do something like this. I mean, someone who knows the hesitancy that she had just 10 minutes ago, I can't say I couldn't be more proud of her. Because you must understand that getting up here and speaking in front of hundreds of high schoolers wouldn't exactly be the easiest thing for, well, anyone. And while I do appreciate the faith that my mother has put in me, the truth is, I'm just as nervous. I am just as nervous to share my story because I can understand what many of you might be thinking right now. I have been forced to attend enough of these events back in my own school to realize that maybe not all of you are interested in what we have to say on the stage. And trust me, as a junior, I get it. So I'm hoping that through my time with you today, I'm not just giving a speech. I'm not just giving a lecture telling you how to live your life as if I know how to live it any better. The truth is, I'm just trying to learn for myself. I hope that in some small way, if I'm able to help others, then, and in some small facet, I can help myself. By being a support for others, I'll learn how to be that shoulder to cry on for myself. Because the only way that any good can come from suffering is by being sure that no others are doomed to repeat it. And I mean, what good is our grief without the story? But I'm rarely one to prepare my speeches ahead of time. I have a little cheat sheet here, so I might get off topic, but I'll try to stay focused. It's a habit of mine that both is insufferable for my mom and, well, my English teacher back at home. So we're going to try this, but here we go. It's October 16th, 2021. A head-on collision robs me and my family of our father. I apologize for the bluntness of my honesty, but you've already heard where this story goes. And to give any more context to my life prior to the accident would be counterintuitive, considering how for me, my life only truly began after the accident. My real life only truly began after it almost ended. Because for me, my story is found in the grief, in the loss, in the suffering, in the nights alone, in the tears, and in the hope, and in the promises, and in the beauty of tomorrow. The story that I wish to tell is told every day in the lives that I, my sister, and my mom are all living to this day. Because the truth is, in any realistic sense, all four of us should be dead. The logistics of the accident all point to the decisions of a broken man making one poor decision should have resulted in the death of all four of us. Point blank. Dead. But by some miracle, by some last-second grace of God, my father made the slightest correction in his final moments of existence, sacrificing the self to save the many. I think we all kind of experience something like that in our lives. I hope not exactly like that. I pray that we don't have to experience anything like that. But I think we sometimes all face a challenge that is so insurmountable, so impossible, that in any reality, it should be impossible. But it is only once you make it to the other side, and you turn around and you realize it was never meant to be the end. I realized it wasn't the end for me when I crawled out of the wreckage on the side of the Florida interstate. My divine purpose, whatever it may be, required that I got up and I lived to see another day. Same for my mother, same for my sister, and same for the other driver. And now I know I say divine purpose, and that sounds like a lot, which it may mean different things to different people, but for me, the only thing I know about my purpose is that I must keep living for myself, keep living for others, and keep living for my Father who made the ultimate price so that I can keep living. I will keep moving forward in search of that missing piece, that ultimate purpose, in the same way we all kind of are. We're all just wandering in search of something, anything, And whether you find that peace in family, in friends, in hobbies, in the sports you play, whether you find it in who you love, what you love, or how you love, or even if you don't find it at all, sometimes on these journeys we can get lost. We can look for the easy way out. I cannot tell you how many people I've seen lose themselves to the easy way out, looking for something else, addiction, drugs, alcohol, just anything. And I think it's a bit dramatic to say that anyone who goes out and parties after prom is a lost soul. That's not what I'm saying, and that's not quite true. But what I am saying is, if things weren't hard, then they just wouldn't be good. If they weren't difficult, if things didn't take effort to achieve, then they just wouldn't be worth it. But, I mean, screw it. I mean, who loves a little bit of fun? I mean, especially if it's just going out to have a little bit of fun at a party. And what is a party without a few poor decisions? It took one poor decision. It took the other driver one poor decision for him to be responsible for the death of my father. And I know that's heavy, and I know that's a lot of consequence. But I heard later that my father died instantly. And that's a difficult concept for me to grasp, because saying he died instantly feels so diminishing, as if the entirety of his existence could simply be boiled down to one instant. That he said no long goodbye or last words, just gone. Because the fact is, he was a different kind of gone altogether. Gone as in never coming back. Gone as your own son can't bring himself to go into your old office. He was gone like that. No slow cause of death for us to all deal with. It just doesn't seem fair. And I've heard stories of machines pushing life back into people that would rather just go, and I know that's not something he really would have wanted. And I'm not saying I knew him better than most, but I'm pretty sure my father would rather be alive. But when is life ever truly fair? When is it ever the right time to say goodbye to someone? I keep rereading the ending of his life, expecting there to be a next chapter. I unexpect his death so hard that part of me thinks it can be true. I know now that every page turned cannot be written, just only reread. So I give up on trying to change the past. Nothing can be done about what has, only what will. I think it is only right for us to make memories while we're still young enough to go out and make memories. But I can't tell you guys what to do, what's right to do, or even what the right thing is to do. And if you've noticed throughout my talk, I've kind of reiterated the truth is, or the fact is, but the real truth is whatever it means to yourself. We're all on that journey to find that missing piece of ourselves, but that is the journey we all must face for ourselves. So when you fall down and you're in the mud and you feel like you don't want to get back up, sometimes the only person you have to count on is ourselves. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps, brush yourself off, and keep moving forward, because while through this tragedy, I've been able to receive the love and support of those around me and watch the community come together and support. A lot of us don't have that. A lot of us only have ourselves to get us through the hard times. And maybe you don't agree with me. You don't have to. Like I said, I never wanted this to be a lecture. In fact, my dad told me on my 15th birthday, 1 week before the accident, in a conversation between podcast, politics, and whatever he planned on fixing with his hands, he said, "You don't have to believe what I believe. It's enough to be good. Be good." I will. I will try to be good. every day. And yeah, sometimes it's hard. Shoot, sometimes it's impossible, but you try. Because yeah, sometimes life sucks. Life can really suck. But in those moments where the uphills are mountains and the downhills are cliffs, you gotta just take a step back and realize there's a little bit of beauty in it. What's the good without the bad? So, I ask for this of you all, and just this. Be good. Whatever that may mean to each and every one of you, I ask you to be good. As someone who just recovered from their prom weekend, this is actually the suit I wore to prom, I can tell you that there's a lot of fun to be had. So go live it. Go live it well, but go live it safely, because life is just far too beautiful to make any decisions that would prevent you from doing so. We thank you, Kent and South, for welcoming us into your school and allowing us to speak for you. I hope there is a story for each and every one of you. Because sometimes our grief has less to do with pain and more to do with beauty. Thank you. We're now going to come on stage, and if you guys have any questions, we're welcome to answer, but if not, we're free to go.